should aspire for more. Connect with others who desire to aspire for more. Reach for your goals. When you do, you allow yourself to aspire for more. Dr. Tammy is here to help you aspire for more. Aspire for more.
Hello everyone, how are you doing? I hope you are well. In the midst of it all, I hope you are well. Welcome to another episode of Journey Toward More, a podcast where we discuss topics to help you manifest more. More of what is for you, more of what you desire, more of what is aligned with who you are, and more of what honors you on your journey toward more. I am your host, Dr. Tammy Francis, the Catalyst, life strategist, literacy educator, and consultant and speaker. And today we want to dive into the topic about these uncertain times. What is it we do? And really focus on recalibrating your purpose and readjusting. What is it you're doing or not doing during times when you are uncertain or unsure? So let's just get right to it. So if you're not following me, make sure you're following me on all social media at Dr. Tammy Francis or C4C, the number 4, at C4C Global 1, the number 1. And follow me and stay connected with me on social media. Some of the things that I will be talking about today are there as well, where you can find more information as you follow me and stay connected with me through social media. In between our little chit chats here every week on the podcast. So sometimes in our lives, we get in a space where we are uncertain or unsure of what we're doing, where we're going, or what is meant for us. Sometimes we question things that we thought we knew. We thought we had figured it out. We thought we had a plan for. And that is what I call the shift. And on this podcast and previous episodes, you'll probably go back to several episodes and see where I actually talked about a shift and what is a shift and what does that shift look like. If I haven't, I will. But I've always talked about it and alluded to the shift and transitioning. And that's one of the ways you know that you're in a shift and you're transitioning is when you get in a space where you are unsure or uncertain. And so when you get in that space, that's when it's time to take a pause, stop, and really evaluate what's going on. Really think about what's going on. During times when life or business is uncertain or unsettling, unsure, that is a signal to us that it's time to adjust or readjust what we are doing or how we are doing what we are doing. It is time to recalibrate. What is recalibrate, you might ask? That is when you return to your center. We return to our center by fine-tuning our strategy. Now, this requires us to revise our plan and go back to the playbook. And that playbook is wherever you wrote it down, but I'm also referring to the playbook that I have created for you to help you plan, promote, market, strategize, all in one place. And sometimes we have to return, go back to that playbook and check our previous plan and reflect on that plan and see what is our next move. Now, right now may be a time when you are in that space where you are feeling this discomfort. You're uncomfortable, you're uncertain, you're unsettled, you're unsure. Things are not as clear as they were yesterday or last week or last month, or you feel like it's time to do something different. And that may be the case. It may just be time to do something different. And that different doesn't mean that it's totally different, that it is completely a different direction. It may just mean that you need to take some time to look at what's going on, what you are doing, where you are going, what you desire, right? Like the intro says, what is aligned with who you are, and start there. So this episode is addressing what that is. And all that I'm describing, what is for you, what you desire, what's aligned with who you are, what honors you, all of those things that I talk about on this podcast and address on this podcast, and part of my intro on this podcast is talking about your purpose. How are you going to do what you love to do? We talked about this in episode 27, last episode. How are you going to do what you love to do and serve others? That is your purpose. Whatever that is, the vehicle you use and all of that good stuff may vary. However, what that one thing is that you love to do to serve others is your purpose. And sometimes you have to stop and look at that. So last week we talked about ways that we could, in this, push back the pressure, right? With purpose and on purpose. So we addressed purpose in episode 27. So if you haven't listened to episode 27, go back and listen to episode 27, the previous episode, and check it out. Because we talk about how this is a time of adjustment. And this is time when we should reflect on our purpose, what we enjoy doing to serve others, your purpose. So we talked a lot about that and being intentional about how you do that. So this episode is really getting into the how. Now, to get deep into the how, let me be very transparent here. To get really deep into the how, you must join one of my future retreats or my mastermind group. And I have a mastermind group starting up in 2 weeks on April 16th. So you, in the show notes below and on the post attached to this podcast, or where this link is, or where you found the link to the podcast, you will see the link to the mastermind group. The mastermind group is 5 weeks, is 60% off, is greatly discounted because we are in the midst of a pandemic that the government has declared a pandemic. And so I have decided to help you on your journey during this time. And I know that you are feeling the pressure, which we talked about last week, but part of getting past that and moving on with purpose and on purpose is looking at our purpose and how we do that. So that's my disclaimer. So to get back to the episode. So one of the things that you would need to do is to look at your purpose. And I want to talk about how. What is it you need to do? So one, if you're feeling unsettled, uncertain, unsure, then probably what has happened is you have grown on your journey. You have learned something, uncovered, discovered something on your journey where you are ready for the next level. You are ready for the next thing. You are ready for the next step. And so if that is where you are, this episode is for you. And the way you do that is you're going to grab the playbook and you're going to revisit, or your journal, and you're going to revisit what you initially wrote down that you wanted to do to serve others, that you enjoyed doing to serve others. And then you're going to look at that list and think about and ask yourself the question, what is it missing? Now, I got to be transparent once again. This is a transparency kind of season. So if I say that too many times, I apologize. But I must say that in my businesses, the last 2 months, maybe 6 weeks, almost 2 months, I have been here, which is why I'm talking about it. And it wasn't because of what's going on here in history and during this time of the pandemic. It has just been because I have grown and I have shifted. And there's some things that I've learned along the way that I like and don't like, that I've added and taken away from what I do. And so this last 6 weeks to 8 weeks, these last 2 months, I have really been feeling like there's something missing from my business. There's something that I'm missing. There's something that I'm not addressing the way that I like to do. There's something that's not flowing in my business the way I like it to. Something's off. Something's off, y'all. So if you're following me and you're watching me, you'll probably see some changes on my platform very soon, because something's off. And I am using this time to do exactly what I'm telling you. So I'm not telling you anything that I haven't done and I'm not doing. And one of those things I had to do was grab my playbook, look at it, look at my vision collage, see what my vision was. And some vision boards are for 5 years, some for 10, some are for 90 days, some are for this month. And what I realized that my long-term plan was not enough. So I've had to, the last couple of days, I've started pulling out images that I can include in a new vision collage that's for the next 90 days, for quarter 2. At the time of this recording, we're in quarter 2. It's the beginning of April. It's April 4th. And I know that the next 90 days are going to be more different than anything I've ever experienced. One, the society is operating different. The world is operating different. The world is really pretty much closed, y'all. And I know this. And I know that the way I navigate business has had to shift. One of the things that I added recently, when I say recently, the last year, maybe 2 years, but the last year, like actually doing, has been travel. And I used to, when I first started in 2017, doing mastermind groups, I would do them online using a digital software. And I would do my masterminds that way once a quarter. Well, I added travel because I am one of those type of people. And those of you that are struggling with the stay-at-home order, you know what I'm talking about if you're extroverts. I like being with people, not just on the phone with them, not just texting them. I like being in their space, being with them. I'm one of those people that thrive on touch. So you probably know my love language, right? Quality time and touch. So that is what I enjoy. And so I knew that with my business, that's what I had to create to really enjoy what I do to serve others. And so I added the travel because I figured if people can't come to me, if people can't travel to me, then I will go to them and or set up spaces where I move around the world so that people can join me where it fits in their life and where they'd like to go, that they've always said they wanted to go in their life, and they can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. They can do some growth development, professional development, and see new places, experience new places and new cultures, and travel more. And so I set up retreats to do what my mastermind group did back in 2017. So some of the same ideas, some of the same things, I did it, but in a retreat atmosphere. Well, now that we are not allowed to travel or leave our home, I've found that I've had to go back to the basics. I've had to go back to doing what I was doing in 2017. doing my online mastermind group. So which is why I have set up one to start in 2 weeks to help us all through this. So we can do the 4 things. I'm going to share 4 things today that I'm doing right now, and I encourage you to do, and you can actually do within the mastermind group. Sorry if I hit the mic with my hair and making all this noise. But yeah. And so I had to go back to that because we can't travel, but I still wanted to serve the way I'm meant to serve, the way I've desire to serve, what aligns with who I am. And I like still seeing people face to face. I thrive on expressions and body language, because if you've ever been in my space, you'll know that that's how I operate. Like, I am really animated, to say the least. And so you get so much from people from being in their space. And so to recreate that in a way with working in the parameters, which we talked about in the last episode, you work in the parameters you're given. And so one of those parameters is staying at home. So I started up the mastermind. So that is one of the way that I had to return and fine tune what I'm doing to make sure that I can still do what I do without having to wait 60, 90 days, whenever this pass, and we can resume going on with our life and with what's going on in the world. So I had to do that. So that's just an example of what I'm doing, what I've had to do. One thing in my business that I really had to shift and do some things. And of course, to reach the world, it's all digital right now. And so some of that is, how much I live stream. Oh my goodness, y'all. In 2017, I was live streaming 6 to 7 days a week, and most days more than once. So I was really pushing out content like crazy, like 2 times a day, at least 14 to 20 broadcasts a week, which is why I had to shift and I had to decrease that to do some of the other things I wanted to do and do the retreats and the travel that I wanted to do in my business. So now I'm finding that I went to once a week. I got it all the way down to 0. I wasn't live streaming for a while. And then when I went back to once a week, and occasionally twice a week, because I have 2 different platforms. So once a week on each platform. So twice a week is what I've worked up to. And I realized during this time, I really need to transition to the next level. I need to add to that at least for the next 60 days. So for April and May of 2020, that's what I've committed and changed in my business, because I realized that I need to return to my center, go back to the basics, fine tune what I'm doing, and create a strategy and revise the plan that I originally set up, because that plan will not work right now. That plan is uncertain right now. I am unsure of how I can effectively do that when I am restricted on where I go and what I do. So, and not by my own doing, but just by the state of where we all are. So those are 2 things that I've done to kind of shift and move into a space and revise my previous plan to fit my current circumstance. I've revised my previous plan to fit my current circumstance and to operate in the parameters that I'm given and that are happening right now. So here are 4 things that I encourage you to do. And if you want to dive into the actual strategy, the actual tangible things and tools that I give you, because I have templates and things that will be shared in the mastermind group, you can join the mastermind group. But number 1, which I've already stated a couple of times, is recalibrate your purpose. Return to your center. What is important to you? What do you value? And then fine tune that in creating a strategy to do it effectively. 2 is return to that center. So think about how can you return to your center. 3, revise your plan. whatever plan you had, you may have to revise it and edit it a little bit. And you may have to do that a couple of times, because when the world gets back in business and in order, then you may be able to bring back and go back to some of the things that you were doing. But for right now, I know that I have to kind of shift with it and roll with it. And the same thing that's happening in your life, whether it's a life event that you're dealing with, a death, a marriage, a divorce, a new child that has entered the world, whatever that life event is, a move, a transition, a physical move from one city to the next city, if any of that has happened, then this may be a time that is uncertain or unsure, you're unsure of. And so this works for them too. So sometimes you got to revise the plan. And sometimes it's fluid. Sometimes it's a constant revision. It's kind of this cursory process, like reading and writing. And then number 4, reflect on the process. So here's the plan that I've created. Now let me reflect on the process I've created. What is it working? Is it smooth? Is it time consuming? Which is one of the things that I've realized in my business, that I'm really at the point where it's time to automate more things. It's time to really commit to transitioning some things and updating some of the things that I am doing. I started last fall updating my logo. Now it's time to really update and work on my website and get that where it's more user-friendly and accessible to you and to those that follow me, so you can easily tap into what I'm doing and keep up with me, because I'm always on the go. And so it's really hard to do some things. I know that I need to get a virtual assistant now. That's something that I am seeking right now and getting some additional support and additional help. So that is what I'm doing. So that is part of the process and executing my plan. You know, I can't execute a plan like we talked about in the last episode if the process is not smooth and it's not conducive to my life. And so sometimes when we are uncertain and unsure, it's because things are not flowing in a way that makes sense for where you are. And so some of that recalibration and returning back to center and fine tuning is really you looking at the process. And so sometimes that's really what it's about. And everything that I teach, preach, and say and do, I always talk about the process. The process is absolutely more important than the products many times. And if you really think about it, it's the process, because through the process you learn for the next thing, for the next level, for the next whatever you're embarking on. And so as you go through these times of uncertainty and times when you're unsettled and unsure, notice that that is a signal for you to adjust what you're doing, how you're doing it, where you're going, why are you doing it, and all of those things, and really looking at it. And I have brought out this playbook, and I have gone back to my goals. I've gone back to the tasks associated with those goals, how I look and structure my day. I've started blocking out my schedule slightly differently and doing some of those basic things that we take advantage of and take for granted each day, and realize how even just looking at my day and the flow of my day and how I'm giving myself grace for the way things flow now that I'm working from home and doing more from home, how it's making it so much easier for me to look at my plan and really implement what I need to do and create a schedule and time for what I need to do, and really look at, why am I doing it? Is it effective? And should I be doing it? And how much energy, now listen to this, how much energy I put into it. Time, money, and energy are valuable resources as an entrepreneur, as someone who is managing a household, as someone who is on the rise in your career or your industry. That is very important on how you spin those things, how you utilize and allow other people to invade those spaces and those things. So this week, if uncertain or unsure, this month, this quarter, you're starting out that way, it's a great time to recalibrate your purpose and revise your plan. It's a great time to adjust what you are doing and how you're doing it, why you're doing it. It's time to fine-tune your strategy and revise your plan. Go back to your journal, go back to your notes, whether it's on your phone, tablet, whatever. Go back to it and reflect on the process and then execute. Execute the plan. See if it works. If it doesn't work, perfect. That gives you more information for what you need to do next. Perfect. That now you know what works for you and what doesn't. Now you can narrow down where you're going, why you're doing it, and how you're doing it. So that is my encouragement to you. I invite you to join me and follow me on social media, Dr. Tammy Francis, and at C4C Global 1. If you're interested in the mastermind group, there are limited seats, very limited, because I love engagement and to make it as intimate as I can while doing a small group. And so that mastermind group opens on April 16th, 2020 for quarter two. The mastermind group and or retreats are offered typically 4 times a year, each quarter. And so for this quarter, we'll be online and in a virtual space and using video management software so that way we can see each other and engage with each other. It includes 5 weeks hanging out with like-minded people, templates from the Playbook, some of my top strategies and tools for you that are given to you. If you have the Playbook, great, you can use them out of there. If not, then that is part of the mastermind group. The session is for you to get those. You also get a follow-up with me toward the end of the session for any individual questions, one-on-one questions, one-on-one time with me to really strategize and hone in on what you want to do and what you're thinking about and what you are planning for next during this quarter to prep for and set yourself up for a great quarter 3. And so, and so many other things that are going to be a part of the mastermind group. Like I said, it's 60% off. So I invite you to go to the link and click on the link, drtammyfrancis.as.me, and sign up. Sign up. Your deposit and or your full payment secures your spot and gets you started along the journey. So I look forward to seeing you in the mastermind group if you so choose. If not, there will be more to come. So look for more information on upcoming retreats. We have one scheduled for Chicago in September that we're still planning on having. And I hope you'll join me in Chicago, Illinois. And that information is already available and already on my social media. I will be circulating that a little more in a couple of weeks as we get more information on what's the current situation here in the U.S. And have some trips, tours coming up as well. Scheduled to go to Spain in August. Yes, still planning on traveling. Any travel that I have after June is still a go for right now. So you can definitely find out more of that information on the same link, and or you can visit brandnewtravels.net for the Spain trip and find out more about that. I believe that's still up for a little while longer, so you can drop your deposit and information for that. Y'all, I have so much coming up. Just know that it's so much that this is like a full-blown commercial. So this is the commercial segment if you hadn't figured it out. Because I have t-shirts. I'm looking at myself in the computer right here, and I realize I have one of my t-shirts on. So we have apparel, accessories. We have homeware that you can purchase with our logo and or I am collection. We have an I am collection for 2020, which are affirmations, which is part of the playbook as well, creating affirmations, which are I am affirmations. And we have several that are available now. I am limitless is the signature affirmation for this year. That is my personal phrase for this year. And so I have made it available to you so that you can adopt it as well. So you know that even in the midst of times of uncertainty, you are limitless. You can do what it is you desire to do. And so I'm here to help you. And so one of the things that I always do is put messages in people by doing things like this. But the apparel brand is to put messages on you. So when you're like me, looking at yourself in the computer, in the reflection of the computer or the mirror, or someone happens to read it and ask you about it, it's sending it, it's on you as well. And you're getting it both ways, even when I'm not with you like this. So the I am collection is I am limitless, I am dope, I am powerful, I am Black History, which I created for Black History Month, and I love that one. I am dope? I am a catalyst, because I had to do that one because that is my brand. And so there are some, and every month this year there will be a new one rolled out. So there are more to come. April's will be launched very soon. So look for that one to be launched very soon. And stay with me. Stay tuned. Those are just a few things. I know I'm missing a few things, but if you're not following me here and downloaded this, please download, like, share. Same thing with the YouTube channel. Make sure you go to the YouTube channels. YouTube channels are the same, just like everything else. Dr. Tammy Francis is my YouTube channel where I host my show. And then Catalyst for Change Global is the community page where I share the things that the community is doing and more about the business side of Catalyst for Change Global. So you'll learn more about that. So that's there. You'll see a highlight video from a recent Catalyst for Change trip that was partnered with Brand New Travels over. We went to Cairo, Egypt about 3 weeks ago, March 8th or 9th through the 16th, 2020. We went there. And so there's a highlight reel. The first one, that's one. I have more photos, so I haven't decided what I'm going to do with the second one, but there will probably be more, at least one or two more. But the first one is up, and you can see some of the things and some of the people and the group that went and all of that good stuff. Some of the things that I did. I rode a camel. You can see some of those pictures and see what the trips with a C4 trip is like. And when you travel with me, what it's like, especially when you do a tour. There's a video up there about the cruise. There's a video from the retreat. So everything that C4C participates in, there's at least one video where you can see what it's like, so you can decide if it's for you or not. Thank you all for being, for hanging out with me this long. If you did, I appreciate you. Hearing all the things that I have is so much that I never know when to say it and how much to say and how much not to say. So thank you. This podcast is available on iTunes, Google, SoundCloud, and Spotify. I encourage you to download, share it. So no matter if your friend has an Android or an iPhone or whatever, they can find it. And I encourage you to share it with them. If this is not the episode for them, look at the titles. I'm sure there's one that would benefit them. Subscribe and share, download, listen to previous episodes, review, even give me a comment if you feel led to do that. Rate and like it. New episodes are uploaded weekly. Previous episodes are available, and I hope that you would join me on the journey and aspire for more. Take care, enjoy your week, and I will chat with you soon.
life, you should aspire for more. Connect with others who desire to aspire for more. Reach for your goals. When you do, you allow yourself to aspire for more. Dr. Tammy is here to help you aspire for more. When you believe in yourself, anything is possible. Believe in yourself, you'll get more. You should aspire for more. Aspire for more. You should aspire for more. You should aspire for more. When you believe in yourself,